Hello, everyone. I'm Ben,
And I'm Tia.
and you're listening to our podcast, The Gift of the Gab. You can find us on all social media at BT Smalltalk.
We're not clueless anymore because we've clued up.
Yes, we have.
The gift of the gab. We are the gift of the gab.
So we're back with episode number 2
Two,
on Do.
trois garçons.
Oh, that is not French. Well, it sounded French, but I think we said it wrong. Anyway, we're back with another episode. So thank you all for watching.
Listening.
Oh, the listening, yes, because there isn't really much to see. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully there was more than one or two of us. I hope it wasn't just us re-clicking, but if it was, that's fine. We'll talk to ourselves. Hello, future me.
Hello.
And yeah, so lessons from episode 1. What did I learn? What did you learn
I
about
talk very
podcasting?
slow.
You talk very slow.
Very slow.
I don't think you talk that slow. I think I think it was because we're settling into our groove and we're just trying to figure out what really works for us in terms of pacing and speaking on the podcast. I learned that podcasting it's not as easy as it looks.
You mean it's not just talking?
It's not just talking. You don't just put a mic in front of you and suddenly you've got these great ideas.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You have to also think about what to talk about.
Yeah, you do. You do. But we got a docket. But we like to freestyle a little bit. Sometimes go off it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. And what have you been up to this week?
Well, I've just been working. That's it.
That's it? Just working all 5 days?
Yep.
You didn't do anything after work?
I slept.
You ate too, didn't you?
I sure did.
Well, me too. I've been working. I did some eating as well, some sleeping. It was really hot.
Really hot.
We're, as you can tell by our accents, we're from the UK, so hot for us it might be different for you. Okay.
It was hot.
But it was like it reached 32 here.
34.
And this is in degrees Celsius, so not Fahrenheit to our American folk. It wasn't freezing. It reached 34.
Hot. Yeah.
Yeah, it was hot. I'm working from home and I was sweating buckets just at the computer. Yeah, it was.
I was outside a lot of the day, and I think outside was hotter than inside.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
Oh,
I'm sure
goodness.
it was. The sun was shining on my window though, so it was really hot. And yeah.
Just on your window, sun was shining on me. I know I've got a few shades darker.
Yeah, I was struggling to see you when I turned the light off.
Oh,
to be
shut
honest.
up.
Yeah. So let's jump into it.
Yeah.
So you've been on the social medias.
Ish.
Why'd you say ish? What's gone on?
Well, I deleted social media for a week.
A week.
A week.
And would you like to tell the viewers how many times you take this stance against social media, this break that you're not going to be on it?
Just a few times.
A few times a month, guys. So she takes it a few times a month.
I think that's good.
Yeah, but it is good to take it a few times a month. I agree with you there. But when she introduces this break, she says it like, "Oh, I am done with it." Like
maybe I am.
No more Instagram. I am done. Oh, I don't like it. And then she'll delete it off her phone. And she's Apple product sponsored basically.
Whatever.
Well, we're not sponsored yet. Hopefully. And she'll just look at it on another device. Oh yeah, I've deleted Instagram off my phone, but I'll just pick up my iPad with Instagram because that counts.
No, this week I deleted it off my phone and my iPad.
And what about your MacBook? Can you look at Instagram on there?
No.
Yes, you can.
I guess you can, but I'd never really.
And
I never really thought of it.
And what about your other iPhone? Did you look at it on there?
No, I didn't. I deleted it for a week.
It's suspicious.
I deleted it for a week. Are you going to ask me why?
Oh, no. Next topic. I'm joking. Why?
Because it can be a little bit draining at times. I feel.
I think especially now, the times we're in now, I can definitely see how it can be draining and just a bit of a black hole.
Yeah, it can. It can really suck you in without you even know that you're being sucked in.
That's why you gotta look at the good stuff. I need to
That's
put
why
you
you
on.
have to delete it a few
No,
times a
you need
month.
to be looking at the funny stuff like us. Gift of the gab.
Gift of the gab.
We are the gift of the gab. But yeah, you need to look at like the funny stuff as well. You can get like news and factual stuff from there, but I think social media is what you make of it.
But I would say that because there isn't much going on right now, obviously we're in lockdown, coronavirus times. There isn't much going on, so a lot of what is going on is draining.
Definitely so. Yeah, the news is just filled with coronavirus, as it probably is for you wherever you're watching from or listening from. I need to start saying that. Oh, but yeah. So just make sure that you do take a break, and apart from, don't take a break from us. Keep listening. In fact, keep playing. Replay this. But for everything else, that is like negative. You need to take a break.
You do,
And
yeah.
like watch some entertaining stuff. There's no harm in turning off the news. The world's still gonna go on, and if it's really that serious, I'm sure you'll be notified.
Yeah.
So no one will look negatively at you for taking a break or not wanting to really delve into everything that's going on. That's understandable. Like you gotta
Yeah.
take care of your mental health so that you can cope on a day to day.
Yeah. I think like sometimes it is important to, not watch the news or not go on Instagram or not go on Snapchat. Just take a break from it all. And really, you find out how much time you have or more time you have in a day because you're not on social media. Um, yeah, because I can spend hours, literally hours on Instagram. And when you ask me what am I doing in there, I'm like, I don't know. I've got no clue.
Yeah, that is me too. My addiction is YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube, and I do like podcasts as well, but YouTube is my main addiction, especially working from home because I can just have it on the side or Netflix. Just something to listen to in the background. Usually like a mediocre show, like Reality Z.
What's that?
It's a zombie like Spanish
Oh.
show on Netflix, and it's
Mm.
not very good, but it's just about good enough for me to not pay attention whilst I'm doing work. So that's
It's a
like the
bit of
level I'm looking.
background noise.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. And then, but if I'm listening to a podcast, I like it to be like a bit light-hearted and like happy-go-lucky.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's what I've been filling myself up with, and food, and
I
food.
can see that.
Ah, you got jokes now. But yeah. Oh, speaking of social media, there's been some developments going on the social medias.
I wouldn't know because I deleted.
All of them. It wasn't just on Instagram. It was on Twitter. It was on YouTube.
I don't have Twitter.
It was on any podcast. Well, not any podcast, but on some news channels, some social media news channels.
Well,
Not.
tell me what it is.
Well, did you hear about the boxer that he was so it's a big muscular black guy. I'm gonna show you a picture. This is what he looked like.
Yeah.
And he's basically I'll quote him before I play him. He said, "So I just watched another video of some clown with a camera running his mouth to an officer. I think it was in New York. I would think it was in New York, and he was calling him a punk. And he said to take that badge and gun off and let's fight." A lot of you clowns think like you do that. You all really think we can hide behind our badges and guns. Obviously, we can fight. And he goes on to say basically, let's sign a waiver. Me, you, and Patri. No, me, you, will sign a waiver. We'll jump in the ring and we'll fight. He's like he looks quite large and muscular, and yeah, I think he's a police officer. And he's basically saying, "Oh, you guys are like." You other people like protesting and stuff are saying like, "Oh, like you're hiding behind badge and gun." He's frustrated, and he puts out a challenge on the internet, and you know what, he puts out a challenge on the internet. So his name is, what is his name? I think like the Dark Son of Krypton or something like that. Not really cool name for like
Dark Son of Krypton.
yeah, I was expecting a different name when I saw the video. I was like, oh, okay, interesting.
Dark Son of Krypton.
Maybe he likes
Okay.
Superman, but no hate there.
Okay.
So he puts out the challenge and goes to bed as usually people do when they do silly things on the internet, and then he gets some replies.
Okay.
Yeah, he gets some replies. So some amateur boxers hit him up and they're like, "Yo, I want the smoke. Yeah, some
Oh,
amateur boxers hit me up like, I want the smoke. Some internet celebrities hit me up like, yo, pull up. Where you at?
where you
And
at?
they were like, where you at? And he was just like, grasshoppers, nothing, nothing. And then to top it all,
Yeah.
Devin Haney pulls up. He's a professional boxer.
Okay.
And he's ranked within like the top 10 of active lightweights, I believe. And like, let me pull up some of his stats. It's like 24 wins and 15 KOs. Like he's about his business, and he's only
Okay.
21 years old. This
Oh,
guy
gosh.
in the video looks much older than him. And he pulls up and he's like, what did he say? Gladly welcome you to a beating. He replies to the guy on Twitter. And the internet is like just laughing. Everyone's tweeting at this guy like, yo, where you at? You silent now. Like you put the challenge out there. You said, let's get in the
Awkward.
ring. Let's do this. Let's do that. And now there's silence. And 2 days later,
Jeez.
like, you know, the SpongeBob meme where it's like 2 hours later.
Yeah.
But this one's 2 days. He emerges from the depths of despair to come and reclaim what he said,
Yeah.
to come and clarify some things. And I'm just gonna play it for you because I don't think I'll do it justice if I just show you.
So is this the second video?
Yeah, this is the second video.
Yeah.
State in my earlier video, I did not come out and challenge anybody. I definitely did not challenge black people. I did not challenge Black Lives Matter. I did not challenge Antifa. What I said was clowns. That means if you are not a clown and you're not one of the idiots that randomly just walk up to an officer because you're in your feelings and say, take off your badge and gun and I will beat you up. What I said did not apply to you. So I've been getting all kind of messages and friend requests and all that good stuff. Guys, listen, it's pointless. Okay, I'm getting all type of professional boxers that have been boxing for 300 years and decide, okay, well, because this cop said this, I want to fight him. And that's the wrong...
Yeah, so I'm gonna pause it there. So as you can see, he's stumbling over his words there. He's got the replies from the professional boxers, the amateur boxers, and even a basketball player saying, "Yo, where are you? Pull up."
Pull up.
And he comes out saying, "Look, man, I wasn't challenging anybody. I was just saying, like, I'm not talking to you guys. When I put that challenge out on the internet, I did not expect someone that I would be scared of to challenge me. Is basically what I heard.
Yep.
And someone did. And I think there's a lesson we can take from this.
What's the lesson?
Sometimes you just gotta shut up.
Shut up.
Sometimes you just gotta shut up.
Yeah, go on.
There you go.
I feel like when you put stuff out onto the internet, you never know the response you might get. And he was obviously expecting a different response.
Oh, most definitely.
And people were willing to pull up.
Oh.
And he wasn't anymore.
Yeah, people wanted that smoke. And he did not want it. But yeah.
He was trying to put it out.
Yeah, he was trying to put it out, and he did not want what was being returned to him. And it was. I had a good laugh.
Can you imagine what he thought when he started getting responses?
I think he was like, and then he was like, okay, how do I reply to this without, like, you know, losing my credibility? Like some of the replies to what he was saying was like hilarious. It was like, this is that 5'7" talk. 99% of the bass came out of the man's voice when the internet told him to turn on his location.
Ooh.
And it was just like, he was just like, you know, when, he could probably, he was a muscular guy, probably could take most of us out, but we didn't challenge him. And I'm in the UK, so I'm fine. But what's it called? It was just that the realization of like, oh, okay. Sometimes when you live in your own world and you don't really think about what you're doing until someone else pulls up, and then you realize you're in some trouble.
Yep.
But that's what happened to him. You have any more interesting things that you want to talk about? Any things you saw on social media?
Well, I deleted social media.
Oh, yes, you did. I listen. Well, I'll go ahead with another one.
Yeah.
Donald J. Trump.
Oh, goodness.
No, he's got good news.
Oh.
He's got good news this week.
Good news.
He's got a way of reducing the amount of cases in the US. Unprecedented. Mate, he needs to like fax this to the WHO.
So we've been locked down for 2 months and he's
got the answer to it. Tia, he's got the answer.
Okay, tell me.
the way to reduce the number of US cases. Clearly, the reason we're having too many cases in the US, I mean Donald Trump, is because they're doing too much testing. They need to reduce the
I thought you were
testing.
going to say something serious.
Tia, let's just hear me out. Donald says they need to reduce the testing. That way they can reduce the cases. 2 + 2 = 4, no? That is correct. Reduce the testing, reduce the
2 +
cases.
2 doesn't equal 4 here.
But yeah, so he came out this week and saying that, the reason we're getting so many cases is because we're doing too much testing.
No, he's been saying this for weeks now, again and again and again. And I think he's trying to convince his own self that his own scientific evidence that he's collected by himself without a degree or anything is test less and less results. And less deaths.
Yeah, like I saw some comparisons to what he was saying. It was just like, oh yeah, if I'm scared, if I was a girl and I was scared I was pregnant, the way to stop that is just not take the pregnancy test.
Could you imagine?
And then it will all be fine. Because if I don't know, then if there's no confirmation, no 2 strips, is it 2 strips?
2 lines.
Strips, lines, all the same. Then I'm not pregnant. I think that is the Donald J. Trump philosophy.
Imagine how many people wouldn't be here right now if that was the case.
There's already a lot of people not there because of him. Like, he is the king of messing up. The king. And I'm at a point where I'm convinced that he
doesn't want to be reelected.
He doesn't want to be reelected, or he's playing a game of how far can I go in being silly before someone actually like pulls the rug from underneath my feet. Like, how much can I mess up?
Or he knows that he can't be re-elected, and so he's like, well, I might as well drag America down while I'm at it.
That might be the case. I would want to spend an hour in his head just to see what the hell is going on in there.
You might have a headache.
I think I'd have a headache, but I'll take some paracetamol and now ibuprofen. Did you hear about that?
What is it? What is it?
What? Oh, hydrochloroquine.
Yeah.
Oh, his favorite drug that he's been recommending. Yeah, you give some to the goldfish, give some to yourself. Yeah. But yeah, I can take some. I'll take some pain meds. They said ibuprofen is now safe to take. NHS, I heard the ad. On a side note,
I can't take it anyways. My eyes will pop out my head.
Yeah, they were, weren't they? Unfortunate for some. But yeah, so that's a little summary. We won't spend too long on that for today.
Yeah, because you could spend all day.
Oh yeah, we could spend all day critiquing him. But yeah. So, what else do you want to talk about?
The influence of social media.
You want to talk about the influence? Oh, so you deleted social media, so you want to come for us that are still using it. That's okay. I'll let you have your time. Go on.
Well, I think social media has a big influence on like young people's lives today.
Really?
Because so many people are on social media and spend so much of their free time on social media as well. And it has a big influence on how we look at stuff, how we some people collect their news and entertainment and all of that.
Do you think overall it's a good experience, a good impact, or a negative impact, like overall?
I think it's a bit of both. I think it's in between, and it can be on the extreme end for some people as well.
I guess I can see where you're coming from. There is like some good stuff about social media.
There is, yeah, of course.
Like I feel like it's helped, especially in the time like this. Imagine if we were in coronavirus lockdown and there was no social media.
Yeah.
There would be like no way to communicate with people apart from the phone. And you already know me. I don't like to be called out the blue.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, man, can't you just send it in a text? But yeah, there's like a reduced way of communicating with people. Where are you gonna get these funny memes from? Yeah. And all of these things.
TikTok dances.
Yeah. Where are you gonna get all of those things? But I can see the negative impact that it has. Like the reason people do delete it is because it's just like it can really it can be dangerous, as Facebook is paying the consequences for right now, but and two, it can depending on what's on your feed, it can just be like really negative and really down. And like someone else, like 2 roads away, might be having a completely different experience on on their feed, like all memes and gifs or gifs or whatever. And yeah, but I can definitely see
Because
where you're coming from.
it just gives people this false confidence, and they get, oh, what is it? Is it Mick Mill? He said the Twitter fingers. Or was that Drake?
Drake said it to Meek Mill,
So-
I believe, in Back to Back
Yes.
when he beat Meek Mill.
Yeah. So it gives this people so much confidence, and they feel like they can do and say anything on social media without any consequences.
Yeah, that is true. That is definitely true. That's why sometimes when I watch a good video and I'm like, oh, should I go down to the comments? I'm like, nah, let me not ruin it. I've got a smile on my face. I know what's going to be happening in the comments. And it's usually some nonsense happening in the comments.
But have you ever watched something where you think A and then you read the comments and they think Z and you're like, whoa? Or it's the opposite. Like you think Z and they think A and you're like, how did they even get there?
Yeah, but I do get that often, and it's usually the thing with social media is like there's a lot of like really biased news or like biased reporting, and it happens in the UK too. But I notice it especially with the social media for the US news channels.
Yeah.
Like they're really polarizing on
Mhm.
both sides, but on one side more than the other. To be honest, that is what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
But like they're really polarizing, and it just becomes a bubble or a filter for people to kind of like live their own version of their truth and not really what the truth is. And that's why you have such different opinions. Like I think what you might be referring to is like if you watch a Fox News video
Oh,
and you see like how they describe something, or like a Democratic person or someone representing the Democratic Party, and then like you go to the comments and you're like, oh, okay, this is a video of Obama opening a door or like holding an umbrella for someone in the comments, and someone in the comments for someone like out in the rain,
like
and
Michelle.
yeah, and then you go to the comments and it will just be hate, like, why is he opening the Obama? Can't think like women can't do it themselves, or like it will be something negative about like taking like a complete
Nothing
opposite
into
view.
something.
But then you have to understand, like, a lot of people in the comments are like in those type of comments are looking for attention, and sometimes they just want their post to be recognized, and they know if they say something polarizing or like something hurtful is going to be responded to more likely than something positive.
Yeah.
But that's why I go look at them sometimes and I'm just like, it might be a troll, and usually they're little kids doing that.
How do they have that much time? They should be reading a book, singing a story.
Were you
Nursery
reading
rhyme,
books
I
and
mean.
singing stories when you were 12?
Yeah. There wasn't
No.
social media back then.
Yes, there was.
What?
There was MySpace,
I wasn't on MySpace.
and there was AOL Kids.
What?
Well, it wasn't social media, but you could play games on there. Mini clip games.
Oh, I had. Oh, what was it called?
Club Penguin.
No. Oh, I don't remember what it's called.
Describe it. Maybe I can help.
MS? No. It was letters.
MSN.
MSN.
MSN. Oh yes, that was like the original. That was like Skype for me back
Yeah.
in the day.
Yeah.
That was the original thing. Oh, I don't even want to tell you what my username was back in the day. I was.
You probably had something like
I'll give it a guess.
Whiz Kid or something like
It
that.
had kid in it. It was Cool Kid.
Cool Kid.
Underscore. I'm not gonna say the rest. It's
I
too
was like
embarrassing.
Baby Princess.
But yeah.
Wow. How social media has changed though.
It does, and I wonder what it's gonna be like in like 10 years time. Like, what will be the next big thing? Like, TikTok is on the rise right now, but will that be what takes over, or is that what's here to stay? Because Facebook has been in the game for a pretty long time, and although like they've decreased in viewers amongst a younger audience, I believe, and they went to a more mature audience, but they still earn a lot of stuff. Like, you know, they earn WhatsApp and,
yeah. Instagram, I think, as well.
and they own Instagram. So although like some people think of Facebook and they're like, oh, I don't use that site anymore, but they usually still use them in some capacity.
Yeah.
I think like once something grows and it becomes big enough, like these companies are like just large enough to be like, all right, we'll own you
Yeah.
now, or like they'll just buy them and like they just continue going. But yeah, Mark Zuckerberg is in some trouble for not clamping down on yeah, just on the topic of social media. Yeah, he's in some trouble for not clamping down on like hateful speech enough on Facebook and stuff. And
Is that
especially
the CEO?
yeah, like the founder of Facebook.
Yeah.
And he's been in trouble in the past. I think he had to go before Congress and like testify about it. But because like Twitter had been flagging and I think like
Fact checking
Donald's tweets and stuff, I think it put pressure on Facebook to do the same. And obviously you've got Republicans saying like, oh, they're doing it unfairly, and Democrats saying they're not doing it enough
freedom
to Donald.
of
And
speech.
yeah, and I think it is important to have freedom of speech, but I think sometimes they take it a bit too far, and like
especially when you have such a big platform.
Yeah, and I feel like it just goes like the Constitution in America, like from standing from the UK, it seems to be for some people like a hard and fast dying line. Like if you cross this line, I'm a rebel. This my Second Amendment. Well,
Yeah.
I don't even want to say that on this podcast. The Second Amendment, like the ears perk up. What do you say about my guns?
It's like, you know, when you play Monopoly and you get the get out of jail card.
Is it Second Amendment? Is that what it is? Second Constitution? Second something?
I couldn't tell you. We don't
the Second
have that
Amendment. Here. Yeah, I believe Second Amendment.
I feel like I've heard that before.
Yeah, we're gonna go with that. It is today.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, when you play Monopoly and you get the get out of jail card, I feel like they use the constitutional line as their get out of jail card as to why they should be allowed to do that.
I think the Constitution needs some updating, because I think it wasn't written in a time where, even though right now is not best for people of all skin colors, it was written in a time where it was especially not good for people of skin colors. And it seems that a lot of the arguments that like some of the lawyers use, it seems to work for not as well for black people. And when they're like, when they're just saying like, oh, I'll stand in my ground or whatnot. But yeah.
And I do think it is important for things to evolve and change and develop, because us as a society or around the world, we have changed and we have developed, and you know, these old laws and stuff cannot stand still.
Yeah, but
they don't fit the time.
It really, I don't know if anybody of you are American that are listening to this, but it really seems like from over here, how it's reported to us, that it's like it's a really polarizing subject about like updating these things, or like especially the Second Amendment. Like when there's like a mass shooting or something, I'll always see like a reference in another country, like, oh, there was a mass shooting here and this country reacted like this and banned assault style weapons or whatnot, and then they'll compare to America, and it just goes back in and round in a circle of an argument. Like, but yeah, it does really seem like a dividing topic. I was watching like a documentary about, you can tell I was watching a lot of YouTube. I was watching a documentary about the Mississippi state flag, and I think it still incorporates the Confederate flag, which was the army that like fought against the U.S. government back in the day, and they wanted to still like keep slaves.
Okay.
And a lot of people, like most black people, apart from, you know, the those that shall not be named.
Okay.
They basically said like, oh, we don't want this flag to be abolished, but the black people were like, no man, abolish it. And even quite a lot of America has like abolished the flag in most states, but there's still like some southern states where it's like deep rooted. It's like flying above state buildings and government buildings.
I know that they did take down, I believe in Texas they took down 2 Confederate flags. But where they were placed is, you can still see the stone and stuff.
Yeah, because I think we touched on it last week, so we won't spend too long on it. A lot of the statues and taking down the flags, and the people's number one defense is, oh, you're erasing history. Put it in a damn book then. Put it in the book and actually teach it in schools, instead of complaining that, because children are not learning by seeing a statue there of a slave trader about the history of America. In fact, it's been probably doing more harm in the community than it is, because it's reminding people like, look, this is what happened. And we're not saying like, oh, you need to just like whitewash history and just say this didn't happen. We're saying actually teach it, like put it in textbooks, let it be learned about. Let's know about the British Empire, their involvement in slave trade, which is, I'm finding out, is far greater than assumed, because apparently Britain was like the reason like slaves weren't brought to Britain in such high numbers as they were in America was because Britain thought that air in Britain was too pure for slaves to breathe. So they did their slavery abroad. They sent ships and managed slavery in like the Caribbean and America. But they were like, oh, we won't allow slaves on British soil because our air is too pure for them.
The cheek of them.
I know. But yeah, it just shows you, it goes to show. And that's what the UK uses, like, as like their get out of jail card of like, well, but we didn't have the lynchings like that over here. We were lynching all, but it's because they thought they were higher and mightier than even the US. But yeah,
I do want to recommend a TV series documentary, 2-part series that I watched on BBC4. Is it BBC4?
It might be
ITV4.
It might be BBC4 ITV.
Is BBC4 a thing?
It is a thing, but it's like it is documentaries usually on that channel actually.
Well, it was on 4 something, and it was called The School That Erased Racism.
Oh, I think you said that was on Channel 4.
Oh, Channel 4. There we go. See, 4 something.
Yeah.
About a school in South London, and they had a group of year 7s that were from a mixture of races, and they talked about stuff like that, and it was a really good watch. It was interesting, and a part of it, the children went to the museum, and it was just interesting to see how many white historians they could see and not as much black historians. And yeah, no, it was a really good watch. So if you're interested, check it out.
I will definitely be checking that out then. I advise you guys to as well. Sounds like an interesting watch. I said I would, but I didn't get around to it. But yeah, I'll definitely give that a go.
Yeah.
Next, the cancel culture. What do you think about that?
What
do you think we're canceling people too soon?
I do.
Why do you think that?
The only example I have is Nella Rose.
Oh, okay. Can you describe who she is for?
So Nella Rose is a YouTuber.
Ones of audiences.
Nella Rose is a YouTuber, or what you can say, an influencer. She's on YouTube, obviously, and Instagram and stuff like that. And so somebody during this lockdown went all the way into her tweets from years ago, so her like school days, and she had like a series of tweets where she was talking badly of Somalian girls and who else?
Yeah, I think they were like colorist tweets. They were like hating on black girls, and she's black herself. She's Nigerian, I believe.
No, she's Congolese.
Congolese, correction. But yeah, she's from Africa as well. And they were just hating on, I guess, other black girls.
And I feel like so they went to cancel her, and I feel like they did that too quickly, because how old was she when she said it? 14?
Yeah, she was like secondary school age.
Yeah, I want to say she was 13, 14, that kind of age.
Do you know how old she is now?
She's 23.
Oh,
23, 24. Yeah. So yeah, she was around 12, 13, 14, that kind of age when she said it, and she did come out with an apology, and she basically explained the whole context around why she was saying it, like how the area and the school that she was in really influenced what she was saying. And she basically said, you know, what she said was obviously not right, and she shouldn't have said it. And she apologized for that.
And she got cancelled for a little bit.
Yeah, she was cancelled for a little bit.
But the thing about cancel culture is, like, the internet's memory only lasts like a week.
No, but some people
Sometimes.
are cancelled. Like,
So some people are, but some people, like, they just be right on. Like, remember Logan Paul? He was in the suicide forest, posing next to like a lifeless body, and that who had sadly committed suicide. And he uploaded, thought it would be a good idea to upload that to YouTube for some reason, and he did. There was a big ad apocalypse. All the ads were pulling out because, like, YouTube, they were like, YouTube, you can't manage your content. This is one of your biggest stars, and now they didn't want to monetize. And like, he was cancelled for a while, and so, like, he's still around, still doing well. And like, I feel like the cancel culture, although like it does cancel some people, and rightly so. Like with the Nilla Rose situation, I was more on the side of, like, that was a long time ago.
people change.
People do change. But I did understand people's outrage towards it as well. Yeah. But it was just like, you got to take into context her age and stuff, and like view her through the actions that she does now. If she's I don't really watch her. I think I've seen her videos a couple of times, like pop up on my feed. But if she was still like that, then I'd understand people's anger. But sometimes I feel like people just look for anything to like to knock someone down, and that seemed to be the case. But I have to say, I don't care how many tweets you have or how many posts you've got. If your channel is growing and you have not decided you need to go back through, whether you think it's reckless or not, you are reckless or not, if you've not decided to go through and either delete your old tweets, there's programs that can delete like tweets for you now and posts for you, and if you've not decided to do that, sometimes it's like, what are you thinking? You've seen it happen so many times. You've seen it to Kevin Hart, Nella Rose. You've seen it to celebrities happen where there's like a tweet from 10 years ago comes up and ruins something for them in the future. And still, you go on your platform and you don't do the work of, let me go have a peek of what I was like back then, whether you think you were good or not. And this doesn't even apply to celebrities. Even if you're a regular person and this is your social media, and you're
leveling up in your job.
Yeah, you're leveling up and you're going for different roles. Don't think that they won't search it. Go back in your tweets and just delete. Go on like delete
the whole thing.
Yeah, you can go on tweet delete and delete like tweets from like certain years. It takes like 5 minutes, and it's like that would save you so much trouble. But yeah,
it does.
Not that you should you should just hide your pop. But if you've changed, why would you let that come and cancel you?
But the thing is, back in the day, like how we were just saying, like how social media has changed so much, and that also is, what am I saying?
Words.
I've forgotten. Yes. So social media has changed so much, and also people's opinions have changed so much. And I think that is good that people's opinion has changed so much, and what people find acceptable has changed. So the things that people would say back in the day, which was okay to say, you wouldn't get scrutinized for it, in 2020 that might be the wrong thing to say.
That's why I say go through. Look, I don't care if you've got 10,000 posts or 100,000 posts.
But what I'm saying is, some people, because they did it, in 2014, they don't feel like they've said anything bad.
And that's what I'm saying right now. I understand what you're saying. I'm saying, whether you think you said anything bad or not, if you've got a certain amount of tweets to the point where you can't go through them and you don't think you've said anything bad, assume you've said something bad. Either go through them or delete the old ones.
Yeah, because you don't really need them.
Yeah, you don't need them. You don't need those old tweets. It's not like if you've got like sponsorship in those tweets and they need to stay up forever, all right, then go through them. Or like, if you're at that level, I'm sure you can have someone go through them for you. Yeah. But you can delete tweets from 2009, 2008. Like, you can use these websites to do that for you. And like, just do that, man. Take the time to do that. And because I don't want to be seeing, like, although I agree, like, yeah, you shouldn't be cancelled for that. I was like, again, you didn't learn your lesson from the last celebrity.
Yeah.
You just be on here.
But cancel culture is not only about people who are cancelled from tweets and things that they've posted ages ago.
This is true. this is true. But are you talking about B Simone?
Yeah, go on.
This week. So I don't know if you know B Simone. I don't really know her that well. I've only seen her. I think she appeared in Wild 'N Out a few times. I'm not sure if she's a regular. I've seen some episodes, well, some clips on YouTube, and she was in them. And I think she might be an actress, maybe as a
I
full
have
time
no
role.
idea who she is. I'm gonna be honest.
But they call her the manifestation queen because she wants to like manifest it into reality, like her becoming big and a star and everything.
Okay.
And she released a book, like she's been on this empower yourself, do things for yourself. She got in a bit of controversy for saying she doesn't want a 9 to 5 man, and I think that's personal preference. But people were getting on her for that because of the way she said it, like as if like she was above them because she was like.
So it wasn't what she said; it was about how she said it.
I think so. I think that was the reason when I watched it, because I was like, oh, I understand why some people might say that, but 9 to 5 people keep the world also going around as well. You need a balance of both, and yeah. And then so she released the book, and someone must have run it through Turn It In or something, because they came back with plagiarism from here, plagiarism from there, and it wasn't like, oh yeah, like this paragraph is like pages, like copied and pasted off someone's blog.
Did she not?
And yeah, yeah, you're looking at me real shocked right now. But it was like it was copied and pasted. Like if you've been to uni and you had to use Turn It In, you know, like you got to reword. There's a technique to it, and you gotta do better. But
wait, so the whole book basically was plagiarized?
Not the whole book, I believe. I believe she wrote her name at the front. But
no, congratulations.
No, I think there was more that she wrote, but there were like sections of the book where there was plagiarism, allegedly. Not so alleged. She's not coming for me. But yeah, there were sections of the book that were plagiarized, and people were hitting her up like, "Yo, why you steal my book? Or why'd you steal my blog?"
I'm sure she had a team to help her produce that book. Like,
funny how did they say that? How did they say? Well, go on.
How did they allow her to?
Well, she says like in her apology, and her apology was trash. She was like basically like, guys, she did the I'm falling on the sword, but it's not really my fault apology, which is the classic no apology in social media cancel culture. If you want to one-on-one and apologizing, don't do what she did. So she was like, she went with the guys, I take all responsibility for the thing, but although it's not my fault, it was my team and they should have done better.
But she wrote the book.
But I'm taking responsibility because you have publishers and they like put my voice in words, and like my team should have done better. But I understand that why I'm being blamed, and I am willing to accept responsibility. They won't be in trouble, and it was just like you had that more to do with that book than you are pretending you did. And if you aren't, then why are you pretending to be like this manifestation queen, like what you're saying this, if these aren't your words?
But how can so much of it be plagiarized then?
Yeah, I'm not even sure what the percentage of plagiarism was, but even still, whether it's like you stole 2 pages of someone's book, it's like, if that is your own words and that is like you are writing it, and I would believe, like, if I'm putting out media to the world, if it's a book or something, I'm gonna have a read of it, even if I've had like writers to help me and stuff. I'm gonna have a read of it, and I'm gonna be asking, oh, where'd you get this from, if I don't know. And like, I'm not just gonna have you put in random words into my thought, because at the end of the day, it's my name that's gonna be on the cover.
Your name, right?
So if you've written like if you've written something like a secret message in the book that people find later, that's gonna come back to me. Like if you've said something like really horrible or like derogatory towards a group of people, just to like get me in trouble, like I need to pick up on that. So I would be double checking even my proofreaders proofreading personally.
But who wouldn't read through the book? And I guess her argument could be she just didn't know because she hasn't read these other books, so she wouldn't know.
Yeah, her argument was it was a failed apology, and the internet got on her for that. And then she tweeted like, oh, I think there was like a main blogger that, like, book author that she copied from, or her team copied from, and she reached to them like, oh, can you contact me? I've been trying to contact you so we can sort out this issue. But yeah, it looks like, and apparently she's made like over a million from the book. This is unconfirmed.
Oh.
I'm not sure, but like if she has, then there's some money to be shared out. Yeah,
Well,
but that's what happens that's what happens on the internet. That's what happened on the internet this week, anyway.
yeah.
Do you see anything else? I know you took a break, but I know you were peaking.
Well, I saw that Kanye West has signed a new deal for with Gap.
Is Kanye still cancelled for you, or was he
I,
ever cancelled for
I'm
you?
not. I'm not sure if he's cancelled. Oh, you mean for me personally?
All right, yeah, for you personally.
Kanye's a bit weird.
He like he said some stuff. He like the slavery was a choice. Nah, I'm like
I think he was going through something like
yeah,
up in here.
I think so too. But sometimes I'm just like, shut up, man,
Shut
Kanye.
up, yeah.
We like you. Some people would need to take that advice seriously. I'll be talking a lot. I understand. You can tell me to shut up too. I'll probably will take that advice and not listen to it. But he needs to shut up sometimes.
But I did
That's
think
the
he
reason.
found himself with the whole gospel thing.
The Sunday.
It does sound like it.
But there's also an argument there about it could be people hating on him,
Go on.
saying that he's like trying to profit off the church.
And I really think he does really enjoy it. And for these celebrities, everything that they do that's a difference. Somebody's gonna say they're doing it because of X, Y, and Z. Like Kim Kardashian's becoming a lawyer just for publicity, or
You definitely can't please everyone.
you can't. But to me, what I see, it looks like he's enjoyed it, and I've downloaded some of his music for my Gospel Sunday mix.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
And
You want to give us a quick tune on the
no, I don't.
pod? Go on, guys.
No,
Leave in the comments. We want to hear Tia sing.
no.
That would be like one comment from my fake account.
But yeah, no, he's got a new deal with Gap, Yeezy Gap, and the designer is
Moalola. Oh, I'm gonna butcher this. Ogunalesi? Moalola Ogunalesi. I think I did well. I'm sorry if I did wrong.
sorry.
I'm also African. I'm Ghanaian.
But yeah, she's a Nigerian designer. So she's gonna be his director. He's the design director in that, which I think is good.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. Some uplifting of the kinfolk.
Yeah.
I like it.
And she's British, so one of our people.
I was looking at Nigerian or African. That's why I took first. But yeah, she's British too.
So yeah, I'm interested to see how that comes out. Cause do you like his stuff?
What, his design? Too expensive.
But do you like? I didn't ask you about price.
Oh,
Do you like his stuff?
the Yeezys. The Yeezys. They look
Some
decent.
of them look weird.
They look decent, but I understand like how some designs like look.
They look like he's going to space. Like the
yeah, I can
shoes.
understand. But I like some of one of the Yeezys I've seen, but I don't like everything that he does. But it's not for me, I guess.
Yeah. Well, as you said, it's too expensive.
Yeah, they'd be costing
How much are they?
couple hundred sometimes a 1,000, a thou wow.
Oh, well.
A thou wow.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not for me either then.
Yeah, well, I saw some reselling when I think they first came out and sold out, and they were like over a thou wow. And then 1,000 guys, and I think some are in the hundreds, but they were too expensive. Well, like I could buy them, but it's just like, but then what do I do with the rest of the pennies I have left? But yeah, it's just like
You could buy them, but you could also buy a
Yeah.
few shoes with that
yeah,
money.
you could. Yeah. Have you like? Oh, speaking of like designs and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
Off-White.
Oh, yes.
The Off-White brand. Like it's very minimalistic, and me like in terms of design, like I like really minimalistic stuff. I'm not really like wear a
Flashy.
big flashy thing.
Yeah.
It's just my personal like choice of wear, and like even if it like it's designer and the logo doesn't show, I prefer that. It's like, oh yeah, I feel good. I'm
Yeah.
walking around in this, but no logo, I'm all right with that. because usually some of it is quality, but the off-whites anyway, getting sidetracked as usual. They got to him. They got to Virgil. Virgil, they've created a new saying. It's not keep it 100 with you. It's I'm gonna keep it 2 Virgils with you.
I don't get it.
Yeah. So the backstory behind this saying is during the height of the Black Lives Matter protests, there was like one of Virgil's like friends. Virgil's the designer of Off-White, and the founder, one of his friends is a white guy who owns a shop. It got like looted or something.
Okay.
And Virgil came out in defense of this shop, and that's fine because obviously property's being destroyed, and he was like, "Oh, you shouldn't be doing this" and stuff like that. And then the friend, interestingly, the guy who owned the shop was like, "Oh, I understand like the people's frustration and the things will be replaced." He came out with an like opposite stance, and I was like, "Virgil, why are you coming out to speak for this guy if this guy is saying like, yo, it's cool?"
Yeah.
And they were like, "All right," but what got him in some hot water was he was like. He was going ahead like and kind of saying some negative things about the protest, and it was like a lot of black people buy his brand, especially in America.
Yeah.
And he decided, oh, you know what? I'm selling these trainers and stuff for $700 a pop and stuff like that. I'm selling these designer things for so much money, and I'm gonna donate to the Black Lives Matter protest. And he posted his donation.
Yeah.
A whole $50 he donated.
I saw that.
A whole $50. And usually I'm not the type of person who like be pocket watching.
Yeah.
Like I don't be like, yo, like at least he donated something. I understand that. But it was like he's made like his shoes be costing $700, like big money, and he donated $50, and not just donated $50, but decided that was good enough to post on social media. So that's where the saying was born. I'm gonna keep it 2 Virgils with you, because 50 and 50. No, it's not. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I'm gonna keep it 2 Virgils with you. So that's what we'll be using from here on, from henceforward.
Okay, but $50. What is that in pounds? You know?
What would $50 be in pounds? It would be like. Oh, he put me on the spot, like 40 something pound, 45. Yeah.
That's kind of like taking the mick, like.
Yeah.
I mean, every penny counts, but
his donation should be higher than mine. Is what I believe. His donation towards things should be high. And I'm not really one to say like you're rich, you need to donate more, but if you're gonna post about it, you best come out with something.
Something worth talking about. You know what I mean? Well, I mean,
when you could, for the $50, you could buy 14 of your shoes. Like 14 of your shoes is like 700. I got that math right. Yeah, I did. But yeah.
Okay.
So that's why they came at Virgil. And yeah.
Was he cancelled too?
I think he got in some hot water. I haven't really followed him. Some people did. They coloured in their Off-Whites on their logos on their. They
coloured it in.
Yeah, they coloured it in. They just made it a regular Nike shoe. But yeah, he got cancelled for a bit. I don't know if he's gonna be in hot water in the future. But that was just speaking of cancel culture. Anyway, moving on. The world is opening back up.
Yeah.
It's opening back up. We're in the UK, as you can tell. And
you keep saying?
Yes, I do, don't I? We're in the UK, guys, for the 7th time. But yeah, the world is opening up, and we are creating air bridges with some European countries, which I kind of find counterintuitive to trying to stop the virus spreading.
Yeah.
But like, there's going to be some countries we can go to that you don't have to quarantine when you come back or when you go there, like France, Greece, and Spain, I believe. And some of these countries have like lower R numbers than us, and they're accepting us, which is kind of weird because like you're putting your own population at risk, because we be mishandling the virus out here. Not as much as America, but we still be mishandling it. And yeah, they're allowing us to travel over there.
Yeah.
And are you going to be going on holiday anytime soon?
Hell no. To the no.
Oh, why not?
No, I'm scared to go to the shop, let alone on a plane. let alone next to people that don't speak my language.
But you have to wear your masks on the plane, and to some countries you can't take your hand luggage on the flight. I think you
No,
have to
but
check in.
where are you going?
On holiday
you
to,
hop on the
to
flight.
sunny Spain,
You go to Spain. What else? What are you doing?
and then
You just sit on the beach. Everywhere, everything else is closed. What's the point?
support local businesses.
I'll stay here.
I will be staying here too, mate. I am gonna let the first wave of people on the 4th or the 6th of July.
You go ahead.
They can be the guinea pigs.
You go ahead and you tell me how it is, and I'll be here in England.
I'll be here. I'm not going to the pubs.
The weather is nice enough, anyways, to stay here.
I wasn't really at the pub like that anyway, but the pubs are opening and stuff like that. Cinemas are opening. I understand like support local business, but yo, there's gonna be a first wave of people that I don't know if they're gonna be clean, if they're gonna be following rules.
I don't need any of them things. I've got the cinema in my room, via TV, Netflix, all of that. I have the beach in my garden. You know, I can get a little bucket of water, splash around if I want to. I don't like sand anyways. What else?
All right, fair enough.
Everything that I need is in this house. I don't need it to go anywhere.
Nah, I see where you're coming from. You're right. When you're right, you're right.
Next year, maybe.
Maybe. But we shall see.
We shall
see. I think that about wraps it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been Ben.
You've been Ben.
Yeah, I've been Ben. I've been me.
Okay.
I'm Ben. She's Tia. And yeah, our new name, Gift of the Gab.
Gift of the Gab.
Tell us if you like
the
it.
The Gift of the Gab.
Yeah.
The Gift of the Gab.
Is that our new theme tune?
Yeah.
Oh, we need to come up with something. We need some help. But yeah, you can still find us on the Clueless Pair everywhere. All social media: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook. Yes, Facebook. And our podcast is now called Gift of the Gab. And you can find that everywhere podcasts are found: Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and Podbean. What else?
Just everywhere that podcasts are found.
Yes. But
you name it, we're there.
Maybe. If I've done my job correctly. But yeah.
We'll just leave you on a proverb. Go on, you say it.
No, you wanted to proverb us. Go on, proverb
No,
us.
you say it. Success is a ladder you cannot climb with your hands in your pocket.
It'd be pretty hard to climb that ladder with your hands in your pocket.
Exactly.
Unless the ladder's kind of like tilted forward. But anyway.
It's a good thing I said it because I forgot some of the words in that.
Yeah, I was stumbling in my head. I was like, But yeah.
The gift
We've been unorganized.
The gift
Thank you for listening.
The gab.
And catch us next week on Tuesday.
All right.
Tuesday.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you. Comment, like, subscribe, and review. Positively, please.
Don't cancel us. You can catch another episode of The Gift of the Gab next week, and you can find us on all social medias at BT Smalltalk.